In a major push to India's clean energy transition and infrastructure expansion, the Union Cabinet on August 6th approved the National Unified Scheme for Compressed Biogas. This is under a scheme called GOBARdhan, the GOBARdhan initiative to strengthen the country's green energy ecosystem. Let's look at this report.
India's compressed biogas ecosystem is set to witness a transformational change with the cabinet approving GOBARdhan scheme. It has approved the National Unified Scheme for Compressed Biogas. The scheme is expected to create a new pillar of India's clean gas economy. The scheme will be implemented from 2026-27 fiscal to 2035-36 fiscal and will establish compressed biogas as a major pillar of India's future energy mix. 6 growth engines that the scheme is built on includes assured CBG offtake, stable CBG pricing framework, capital assistance, development of pipeline infrastructure, credit guarantee support, and CBG ecosystem challenge fund. The scheme is expected to deliver private investment supported by stronger project viability, stable pricing, and improved access to institutional finance. Stronger rural livelihoods through new income opportunities, scientific waste management, lower greenhouse gas emissions.
ये स्कीम गोवर्धन स्कीम है. इसमें बेसिकली जो हमारे अभी एग्जिस्टिंग सिटी गैस पाइपलाइन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन आ चुका है, प्लस पाइप नेचुरल गैस भी देश में कई जगह कई शहरों में आया है. इन सब का इस बायोगैस के प्रोडक्शन सेंटर्स के साथ कनेक्शन किया जाएगा. अश्योर्ड ऑफ टेक का पिलर रखा गया, यानी जो भी मैन्युफैक्चर करेगा बायोगैस उसको एक अश्योर्ड ऑफ टेक यानी उसके प्रोडक्ट को खरीदने की गारंटी दी जाएगी.
In a post on X, Prime Minister Narendra Modi lauded the decision and called it a vital step towards clean energy, rural prosperity and self-reliance. Prime Minister Modi said that the scheme will give a major boost to compressed biogas with the aim of increasing domestic CBG production nearly tenfold. The scheme will create a strong and predictable ecosystem for investment and innovation. The scheme will benefit farmers, cooperatives, MSMEs, women entrepreneurs, and rural enterprises while strengthening energy security and reducing dependence on imported fossil fuels. With these decisions, the government is looking to accelerate India's journey towards energy security. Tripti Tripachi's report for DD India.
Well, Shubhamoy Bhattacharjee, a senior economic journalist, joins us now to tell us more about this and help us understand it. Mr. Bhattacharjee, India's biofuel ecosystem has expanded fast since the 2018 National Policy on Biofuels. How do you view this transformation, feedstocks, technologies, integration of waste streams into the circular economy?
Considerable. And you know what, Mark, the big thing to remember is that the process, how significant is it, has become particularly significant after the impact of the US-Iran war. And we've realized that how quickly an economy could be brought, could be seized up if energy supplies don't flow. So at one level, we are having moved towards electricity, which is very important. So that means electrification of even transport. And the other thing is to basically cut the reliance on imported crude. Despite all the efforts, it is still a long haul, but all the efforts are necessary to be able to find out to what extent we can actually go in terms of substitution. So yes.
Yes, Mr. Bhattacharjee, also the Panipat 2G ethanol plant, it processes 2 lakh tons of paddy straw annually. So how significant is this model? Is it a blueprint also for solving India's crop residue challenge?
Lots, but as I say, all of this will be necessary, and I really discount the current furor in social media and all places about this fuel and that fuel. Frankly speaking, if somebody wants, they can always shift into the speed petrol or other things. So that's not really an issue. The challenge is that how much of the current import can be sort of replaced by the efforts that is being made. This will take time, this will take investment, because there's a huge amount of processing cost that goes into it. There's intensive amount of churning that will be necessary. research and development, as you can see, is continuously going on. Remember, India has actually had a very good record in research and development in petrol. And Indian refineries, for instance, are the best in the world in terms of being able to refine any types of crude. And that has stood us in huge support. We are one of the world's largest exporters of petroleum, India, and other products. But the next stage, therefore, is building on that how well can our refineries, therefore, move on to the next stage. It is a success story that India has actually had, and doesn't need to be, expected that there will be a success story. But it's a success story that is already present in terms of us. Now we can take it forward from there.
Mr. Bhattacharjee, also the new National Unified Scheme for Compressed Biogas, GOBARdhan. India's aim is now to make this compressed biogas a major pillar of the clean gas economy. So how best can, rural waste, cattle dung, also municipal waste be turned into a reliable energy source or resource for the long term?
I remember in 1970s, we turned a huge shortage in milk to a success story, the white flood, which has made India more than self-sufficient in milk and milk products, and in fact our challenge is how to export that. So definitely this is something that we can replicate on the same scale. The question is about, today we can see the challenges in terms of collection and challenges in terms of working it out and how to do it on. But we have a blueprint that is there with us. The way we assembled large number of cows and buffaloes into small producers to make them a viable cooperative. So I suppose something similar could be thought of, and it is quite possible, and it is quite necessary too. Yes.
Also, Mr. Bhattacharjee, India is promoting ethanol, as you were saying, ethanol blending, and it's exploring sustainable aviation fuel as well. Now, there's also the Global Biofuels Alliance. But if we look at these initiatives, how do they position India in global clean energy diplomacy? Because, it's a big game after all at the end of the day.
Absolutely. However, I must point out that the aviation turbine fuel is not the same as the ethanol that is being talked about. That's a different kettle of fish altogether. So, pardon me. So that part we have to take out, that is a different way, and that is a different thing that's being looked at. In terms of using transport, ethanol, especially for two-wheelers and for four-wheelers, the light motor vehicles, this is a policy that can definitely, and as we can see, it definitely is giving us the opportunity to expand domestic production, to bring in possibilities and supplies which can be held earlier, which wasn't possible earlier. For heavy vehicles, it will be hydrogen.
Okay.
We have talked about in this program earlier too, that for big industries, for heavy vehicles, there the heat calorific content is much higher. There it will largely be hydrogen.
Okay.
Which when we move from gray hydrogen to blue hydrogen and then to the green hydrogen, and we have got an ambitious path of producing about 5 million metric tons by 2047. We should be able to, in fact it's an earlier target. The target is actually earlier. We should be able to do it.
Right.
A substantial change in our entire transport mix. Yes.
Also, Mr. Bhattacharjee, do you see any technological or financial bottlenecks for India to overcome to make this biofuel value chain stable, scalable, globally competitive?
No, the ethanol technology is not new, and countries have been doing it. In fact, I don't know how many people know, but EU is actually going to mandate E20. The same vehicle on which there has been a bit of a discussion in India, as their mandatory vehicle across Europe, and that's going to happen within this year. So it is something that's actually happening globally.
Right.
So the technology is flowing across the countries. It is not a very difficult technology. It is something, it's a question of adaptation, about what sort of product is being used to make this technology work. So I don't think, as I say, far difficult process technology was when we took up the challenge across all our refineries to process all types of crude from across the world. You would now, I mean, it's worth talking about that the types of crude that is available from oil wells is about more than 500 varieties.
Okay.
There are 500 varieties. When it is not the same crude that comes out across all oil wells, and those 500 varieties have been used in India to produce the supply of oil, petrol, and diesel that everybody is so accustomed to.
Yes,
so it's been that was a huge technological challenge. This, I suspect, I mean, in fact, from what I understand, is not such a big difficult thing. It's a question of supply chain, the logistics. That would have to be worked out.
We leave it there. Thank you very much, Shubhamay Bhattacharjee, Senior Economic Journalist. Thank you for putting things into perspective for us.